Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Wednesday, the third day of February. Here we go. And we're going to go back to that topic that we were on a little while ago, and that's the one about different things you need to know when you're setting up a kitchen, catering, quickly arranging for Shabbos, and you want to get all the facts right. So here's where we were. If you have knobs on an oven, those knobs on an oven need to be covered, and that's because we fear that if they're uncovered, then people could be, inadvertently or without thinking about it, ending up turning knobs on an oven, and you're not allowed to do that. So you have to make sure to take care of that problem by covering them. Could be silver foil or something like that, just placed on them before Shabbos. If you're desperate and somehow you couldn't arrange to have them covered, you're allowed to be lenient on this if necessary. It's better to have them covered. Now let's move on to another kosher topic around Shabbos arranging of food, and that is wine. You may always notice that wine is like kind of double sealed every time you buy it, and one of the reasons that we like to have our wine double sealed like that is because, well, let me start way back from the beginning. You see, long ago, non-Jews used to use their wine for libations. That's pouring idolatrous, idol worship kind of stuff with their wines on altars that they had, and they were using them as a religious item for pagan and things that we really don't approve of course, and that are grave sins according to our religion. So we wanted to be far, far away from any association with any wine that could have been used by a non-Jew in such a fashion, and therefore the rabbis decreed that even stam yeinam, even regular wine that I don't really know was put on there. Doesn't seem to me like it could have been put on their altar for idolatrous purposes or not, but still they said any plain wine that a non-Jew handles, just don't drink it. And that's the decree that the rabbi said long ago that we still keep to. It's called stam yeinam, plain wine of a non-Jew. I don't know anything about how it was used or whatever. They said just don't use that wine. So that would mean if a non-Jew handled a bottle and the bottle was open, then that would have the problem of it's wine, plain wine that was handled by a non-Jew, and you would not be allowed to drink of it. It's not really a Shabbos issue, of course, but wine is something we're always using on Shabbos. That's why we're mentioning it. Now, if the wine is mevushal, and that would be listed, it would be written right on the bottle label. If it's cooked wine, then this decree does not apply. The reason that it does not apply, there are two. The Beis Yosef says it's because cooked wine was it wasn't common for cooked wine to be used on their, they wouldn't want to use cooked wine on their altars, and therefore if you had cooked wine, you'd never have to fear, and it never came under the whole decree in the first place. So if the wine was officially cooked, heated up to a certain temperature that makes it called cooked, then you wouldn't have to worry about a non-Jew handling it. Also, according to the Rambam, it's because no, that was the Rambam's reason. He was the one who said that because it was never used for idol worship, and since they never used that kind of wine for idol worship, the decree was never on it. The Beis Yosef, on the other hand, said that it's because the rabbis only decree things on stuff that's common, and they never put their decrees on uncommon situations. Cooked wine was an uncommon situation, says the Beis Yosef, and therefore you wouldn't have to worry about cooked wine and being handled by a non-Jew because it was uncommon for that situation to even exist, so they said, don't worry about cooked wine. So for those two reasons, either one of those two reasons, if you see the label of the wine says mevushal, then you won't have to worry if a non-Jew touches it. Okay, moving on. What about a water urn that's going to keep your water hot for Shabbos? One of the things that you have to know, Rav Moshe said this, that you have to make sure that the water is cooked before Shabbos starts, and then it's called a cooked item, and it's fine the rest of Shabbos and stays hot in its thing, and you can totally use it. But it's best if it cooks up to its hottest near boiling before Shabbos. If you have one of those very large ones, those institutional types that have an inlet valve, and every time you take some water out, some new water is going in to get heated, then you're not supposed to use that. Rav Belsky, you know that Rav Belsky passed away just several days ago, but we're going to be listing, oh my gosh, he has so many matters in halacha that we'll be quoting, and may his memory be blessed. We'll be quoting him always. He said that a non-Jewish waiter is not supposed to pour cold water into an urn because even though he's not Jewish, but that's benefiting you, and he's causing that water to be cooked up on Shabbos, and it's a no-no. And lastly, if you have a large hot water urn with a knob on it, the knob has to be taped before Shabbos so that no one's going to be adjusting it on Shabbos. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.